That is clearly tornadic debris now to the west of Pleasant Grove. So again, this is just giving us more confidence based on that report that we had and the signatures on radar that this is indeed a tornado on the ground now, just south of Lawrence, south of K10. So look at that. There's the new scan. This is a tornado with debris being lofted into the air. This is about to cross Highway 59 in the southern sections of Douglas County. So if you are in Lawrence, again, please take your tornado precautions. This is the storm of the moment that we've been tracking. Again, the tightest area of circulation and continuing to move to the northeast. So again, tornado warning now, including Lawrence. This is until 7 o'clock. Again, if you are anywhere, I'd say in the city of Lawrence, southern and eastern Douglas County, take shelter right now. Again, this is a confirmed tornado on the ground. This is about a mile to the west of Highway 59. It's a few miles south of K10 on the south side of Douglas County. Let's hope this misses Lawrence, but the way it's looking right now, again, this is going to be a very close call for the southern and eastern sections of Douglas County. Go, Jeremy.
All right, Peyton, I'm looking from the tower camera on the just south of Lawrence, about southeast of Lawrence, about 2 miles into the storm. And we've been saying this is highly rain wrapped, very difficult to pick this out with the tower cameras. But I just want to give you the shot there to show you. If you want to get outside and take a video of this with your iPhone, don't worry, we've got a better camera and a better position, and we can't see it. So stay inside. And a lot of the students in Lawrence are going to want to get out there and maybe get a picture of this thing. Don't try to do it. As Peyton was mentioning from the radar, that very high likelihood that this is touching down now and probably doing some damage.
So anyone in Lawrence needs to be taking shelter. New tornado warning. We have, that's going to be till 7 p.m. So again, confirmed large, extremely dangerous tornado. Again, 3 miles south of K10 Highway, crossing US 59 right now.
It's 23rd and Uzdal, 23rd in Iowa. That looks like it's awfully close to the tornado, if not right in it. And
23rd in Iowa is going to be west of that circulation.
So farther west of the actual circulation.
Yeah.
All right, so the farthest east we have here,
yeah,
oh, there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
This is 23rd and O'Connell, and that's the tornado on the left side of that picture right there. So the traffic camera, and that was at 6:22, just 4 minutes ago. So that's it. So we can zoom in more closely on it. That's it on the left side of your screen right here. That is the tornado moving across the south side of Lawrence. That was 4 minutes ago. But that's it. That's a big tornado moving into the south side of the city and certainly doing damage in Lawrence right now. So that's what we have from the street cameras there in Lawrence. Peyton, go ahead.
All right, yeah, let's just get back over here to the radar. Jeremy's going to keep an eye on those cameras, but again, the threat now is shifting to the east side of Lawrence, so right along K10 on the southeast side of the city, right where the highway goes to 2 lanes. That's where this tornado is going to be, and that is tracking right through the eastern part of Douglas County. If you are in Eudora, you need to be
6:22, so yeah, 7 minutes ago.
Okay.
That's what we've got, and Peyton's going to have a damage picture here in just a moment. The 23rd and O'Connell, that's the huge tornado. We saw it on our tower camera. It's located southeast of town, and that thing went dark, and then we saw this, and it's done some damage in the south side of Lawrence almost certainly. Peyton?
Here, take me right now real quick.
Go to Peyton first.
Can we take this full? Can we take what's on this TV full if we can? This is South Lawrence over Highway 59. So this is a tornado that did damage now. So this is look at that. That is a roof off of a house. So
live, go. I'm sorry.
Okay,
go ahead and take it. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead. And I'll talk about it. Okay, so Peyton's got the damage picture. Let's see the video live.
Yeah, do we have take that video live that you just said we have?
Take it. You got Eric live. Okay.
Okay, let's go back to this picture then real quick. Wait.
Okay, now you've got it. All right, this is live in Lawrence right now. Sorry, Peyton. This is live from Eric Ives. He's over in Lawrence right now. Is he in the damage path, or what is he seeing here? Is that damage? Looks like the trees are missing all the leaves here from what I can see. Okay, so this is where the tornado actually hit. Looks like on the south side of Lawrence. Did he say, is he on 59 or what highway he's on?
He is on K10 on the south side, somewhere past Bob Billings Parkway. I know that he's just been along K10.
Okay, so we've got live video there of some of the trees that are damaged on the south side of town on Highway 10.
There is structural damage as well. We are getting reports.
And Peyton has that picture. Go back to Peyton. I want to see that picture Peyton had.
Just take it full. I'm going to let the Weather Service know here real quick.
There it is.
Take that image full and let Jeremy talk about it.
Okay, so that's the picture. The damage on is it 56 Highway? Is that where that's
Highway
located?
59.
Highway 59. Okay, south of Lawrence. And you can see structural damage to those homes. You can see one of the homes, the roofs has been removed there. I can't tell if any walls are down or not, but that is just from Lawrence a few moments ago. Highway 59 is where that damage has occurred. So that's the first picture of damage that we've got here. I've got a live video of storm damage in Lawrence. Let's see what you guys have got. Okay, so that's from the big tornado that touched down in Lawrence. Just about 6:15 until about 6:30 is when it appears to have been in the city of Lawrence. And we've got almost entire roofs taken off there, walls taken down as well. You can see some folks there that are just taking pictures of the damage, I assume, in their homes, and just an absolute mess. So a big tornado just ripped across the south side of Lawrence, doing some damage there, and that is not minor damage. That is not your EF0 or 1 that we've have seen many times. This is going to be a big one, and that's some of the damage there on the south side of Lawrence.
Do we know where this is at? Can we find that out?
It's just on highway, what highway is this on? 59. Okay, if you get a neighborhood there, let me know. I want to know exactly where that's at, but that's the damage this thing has done on the south side of Lawrence. And we were looking at our tower camera, and it took the tower camera down from the power outage, I'm sure, and then we saw it. 59 south of Lawrence. Okay. All right, go ahead and bring up the radar if you guys will. This is what we have now, looking at the radar, and you can see the storm is approaching DeSoto at this time and moving into the southern parts of Leavenworth County, and then heading toward the Kansas City metro. So again, this is a very dangerous storm, has a history of producing a large tornado and doing just a lot of damage in the south side of Lawrence. And this is how it looks now from the Kansas Turnpike, the toll plaza, the east end of it, looking west into the storm. And that's the live view of it now. The Kansas Turnpike folks have spun the camera around. It said it was looking east, but they have changed the direction of the camera. They are watching it to the west. So that's one of the KC Scout cams, and we're watching it live now. It is still on the ground doing damage and heading now for the Kansas City metro area. And again, we did catch a picture of that as well a few minutes ago when it did go into the south side of Lawrence. This is from the City of Lawrence traffic camera at 23rd and O'Connell a little while ago. That was at 6:22. And then there's a picture from 23rd in Alabama. I'll go ahead and zoom that out a little bit so you can see better. That's at 6:24. So a very dangerous storm again with the history of producing a big tornado there. That's how it looked again at 6:22 from 23rd and O'Connell. And then just a couple of moments later, again that's at 23rd in Alabama in the city of Lawrence as that big, dangerous, damaging tornado moved right across the south side of the city. And as we showed you a few moments ago, we have confirmation that there are homes that have bad damage there on the south side of Lawrence from what we're seeing. Peyton, you have an update?
Nothing just yet. Places down we have.
We are currently south of Lawrence by about 4 miles, maybe 3 miles south of Lawrence, where there's a small housing division. Take a look here. We've spotted at least 4 houses that have been hit by this tornado possibly. We're seeing some people come out of this house right now. They're coming out of the garage, they're coming out of the basement area, including some children here. You can see that live here. It looks like everybody's okay. We're not seeing any injuries with those individuals now. Emergency personnel are getting on scene at this very moment. We see sheriff's deputies now rushing here to this area. There are power lines down also associated. This is one house. Just beyond that, there's another house with roof damage. Then over to the west a little bit, I'm sorry, to the east a little bit, is another house. It looks like it's completely caved in. We've got a house, we've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 houses that we can see damage here at this location. We do not know if there are any injuries associated with this currently. We are able to get down there because there's no access road from where we're at, but it looks like people are walking out of these homes at this very moment. We are going to try to get a little bit more of an assessment of damage. We know that there's more damage a little here to the north too, so stay tuned. We're going to get some more information for you, but as of right now, this is the damage that we're seeing south of Lawrence in this little subdivision. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks for that, Sean. If we could work on getting exactly where Weather Service is wondering where those damage, where that damage was. So if we can work on getting maybe a road intersection close by, but based on radar, that was just south of K10 Highway. So we'll continue to work on that. Good news that I can pass along. Lawrence, all of Douglas County, no longer in a tornado warning. The threat is now moving to the east, but for places in southern Leavenworth County, places like Linwood, the rotation's right on top of you. Baser, Bonner Springs, moving out to the western sections of the Kansas City area. This is a tornado emergency for these areas, still ongoing. That does include portions of the western part of Kansas City. If you have friends and family in these areas, looks like the circulation is going to go north of Olathe. It will be getting close to the western part of the 435 loop in Kansas City and close to Overland Park. So a storm that we're going to be monitoring carefully. Again, confirmed damage on the south side of Lawrence, and we're continuing to work to get more information on that. And that, of course, that is our top story so far today. And we're going to work on getting an exact location of where Sean Wheat was. Again, he's going to continue to gather the latest information with that storm there. Jeremy?
All right, Peyton. Melissa Bruner telling me now the turnpike is closed. Look, east of Bonner Springs, west of Bonner Springs. And what you'll see here, this camera moving, I don't have control over that. That is the Kansas Turnpike Authority, part of the KC Scout camera network. They're turning it southwest from the turnpikes. The turnpike is closed right now from Lawrence to Bonner Springs because of the tornado. And that's it. That's your tornado right there. Live video here looking to the southwest from the East Toll Plaza on the Kansas Turnpike. You have a huge tornado that just did damage across the south side of Lawrence, and we had a live video of it there on our camera before it took it out, and now you have it right here. That's it. You can see dust flying on both sides of this. The tornado is just south of the Kansas Turnpike right now. Yeah. It's going toward Bonner Springs.
New report here. Train spotter reports a semi overturned and highway signs down. This is about 10-15 minutes ago along Highway 59, 1 mile south of K10. So again, Lawrence, this is a very close call. We did have damage on the south side, but it missed the heavier population center just to the south. Once you start getting south of K10, that is where we did have, again, reports of a semi-overturned, highway signs down. And again, Sean Wheat's there live. We'll continue to gather that information. Jeremy?
All right, so there's the tornado. It's still on the ground. This is live video. This is not recorded. This is right now. Sorry. So the turnpike is closed from Lawrence to Bonner Springs right now, and that's the tornado. It's still a big tornado. If you have friends or family in Kansas City, you need to let them know that this is coming toward the Kansas City metro. It's going toward areas like DeSoto. Bonner Springs is in the path of this. That's it. Again, this is not a picture from a few minutes ago off Facebook. This is from the Kansas, the Kansas Turnpike, and they spun the camera around off of the interstate to go look at this. They can do that sometimes. So this camera typically is looking east. They spun it around to look west, and now they're looking southwest, and that is the tornado right now that just tore up the south side of South Lawrence a few minutes ago. Now on the radar, we can see it. We'll zoom in more closely here on this, and again, it's not a Doppler radar indicated tornado. It's not maybe a tornado. It's a big, powerful tornado just south of the Kansas Turnpike that's just about to move into Bonner Springs in the next few moments. And on the velocity mode here, you can see it maybe a mile off the Kansas Turnpike to the south and moving off to the northeast at this point. So we'll loop it, and again, we saw it go across the south side of Lawrence, do the damage there, and now it's going to be approaching Bonner Springs in the next few minutes, and it won't be long before this makes it into the west side of Kansas City, looking like probably north of I-70 in the Kansas City metro. But a huge deal here. We've got this big tornado confirmed, long-lived at this point. It's been on the ground since well southwest of Lawrence, and now it's moving into an area with a huge population. And we'll have to see what happens there.
Weather Service did mention that they're getting debris as far northwest as Tonganoxie, and they're not technically in the tornado warning. So this is a pretty powerful storm system that's getting a lot of debris outside of the warned area.
And this is it right here. That's the tornado on the ground still. Again, from the Kansas City Scout Cam. That's just a live from the Kansas Turnpike, and that's going to be looking from the turnpike to the southwest toward the tornado right now. So that's what it looks like over there currently. Back on the radar here, let's go back to the latest in the Capitol Federal Live Storm Tracker, and you can see the storm moving to the northeast toward the city of toward Kansas City right now. And I'm going to take a look at this camera. I needed to load it again. There it is. Now this is live, and you can see it. This is a huge tornado. Oh my goodness, that's looking again down the Kansas Turnpike, just east of Lawrence, close to Bonner Springs. Man, I can't overstate that we haven't had something like that on television here. The closest thing we had was Chapman a couple of years ago when it went just south of Chapman. But that's a huge tornado right now going toward Bonner Springs. If you have friends or family there, you need to call them right now. Or if you're there, you need to take cover right now. That is a huge tornado. It's going to do a ton more damage from what I'm seeing, and it's getting much closer to that camera that's on the Kansas Turnpike, looking directly toward it. And it won't be more than a few moments before this probably hits that tower camera on the Turnpike. So the National Weather Service, we just learned that the Turnpike had been closed west of Bonner Springs all the way to Lawrence because of this storm. And you know, again, it's a huge tornado on the ground there, and making its way almost into Bonner Springs right now. It looks like it's just almost right on the Kansas Turnpike. So we do have Sean Wheat with an interview in Lawrence. Sean, what do you have?
Guys, we're here currently south of Lawrence, at about 3-4 miles south of Lawrence, is that little area we showed you a little bit ago. Roger Brown's house is right here. Let me show you the house first. You see that? That's his house, and it is gone. The roof is gone, a good portion of it's gone, and we are here with Mr. Brown, who just rode this out in his basement. And Mr. Brown, can you just tell us what happened? How long ago did it happen, and are you okay?
First of all, yeah, we're fine. My wife's fine. The animals are fine, and I want to thank all of our friends and family that have been checking on us throughout this, and are on the way over to help, although I don't know what they can do. But it went through very quickly. I was in town at the grocery store. My wife called me and said the alarms were going off, so I hurried home, got in the basement, and we have a safe room underneath the front porch. Thank goodness for that. We were down there and listening to the storm warnings, and heard the roof come in, and knew that everything upstairs was pretty much gone at that time. So
How were you able to get out if everything had fallen in?
Well, everything in the basement is intact. You know, it's damaged, but it's intact. As far as not being arranged differently, glass broke and that kind of thing, but we were able to climb over things and get out of the basement. We have a walkout basement, so moving stuff out of the doorway and things like that out back to get outside, we were able to do that.
What did you hear? I mean, you were down there, but you heard the roof come in, but what did you hear just before that?
Just glass breaking, you know, things falling off the walls, glass breaking, windows coming in, and then the roof go. We could hear it crash, and I think it was the front door sucked through the house and to the back of the house, and I think that was probably the loudest noise that we heard, and most of the roof leaving.
Now, have you had a chance to check on your neighbors? It looks like your neighbors here a little further to the south took some more damage. Have you had a chance to check on them yet?
Yeah, we've checked all the neighbors in the neighborhood here for about a mile north of here, and everybody seems to be okay. Friends and family are on the way to help everybody, so we'll evidently build again.
Yes. All right, Roger, thank you so much. I'm so glad you were safe. As you can see, folks in this area are still putting stuff. They're putting tarps up. They're trying to get everything assessed. And we know that emergency services was through here earlier. Actually, access to the area we are in is blocked by a tree. We had to do a little bit of off-roading, but we were able to get in and to give you these images. But as you can see here, it's just absolute devastation. And this is just the start. We know of more houses to our south that are damaged. To our north that are damaged. And it looks like there are even more up to the west and to the east. I'm sorry, I'm a little turned around here, but as you can see, this is just the start of what could potentially be a very heavily damaged community here just south of Lawrence. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Sean. So we do have the tornado warning now in place for the northwest part of Washington County and the eastern sections of Republic County. That is a completely separate storm, and this one has a velocity on it that's showing most likely a tornado along Highway 36 at this time, moving to the northeast at 40 miles per hour, has been the latest motion on that from the National Weather Service. We'll put it into motion. You can see it's moving to the northeast towards areas like Haddam, and it's not reported to be touching down at this time, but it does have a rotation sign showing up on it. It could touch down at any point. So just south of Belleville a few moments ago, a hail zone on this, showing that the core of the highest hail is going to go just north of Belleville, probably in the northwest corner of Washington County, but showing hail that could be 2 inches to up to the size of a tennis ball is what we've got right there with this one.
Ready to go once again in Lawrence. Again, if you're just joining our coverage tonight, south of K10, we had a damaging tornado the far south part of Lawrence and just on the far south side of town with damage to homes. So let's go to Sean Wheaton now with the latest.
All right, we are here still in this little subdivision of Lawrence, just south of Lawrence by 4 miles, and we are across the street from the house we showed you just a little bit ago. We're with George Grebe. And George, you're looking at your home right behind you here. It took a direct hit. Are you guys okay?
Yeah, everyone's safe, but the house took a direct hit, and it's probably a total loss. Yeah.
Well, tell us, when we were up here on the highway, we saw folks, your family coming out of the basement, out of the home. Everybody's okay?
Everybody's safe, yeah.
And so what happened? Just give us a little bit of a timeline of how things occurred.
Well, we were just paying attention to the news because we knew that there was watches and warnings in the area, and so we went down in the basement about 10 to 6 and just tracked it on the news until it got south of, just north of us. And then, we saw it coming. We could hear it, and we took cover in the corner of the basement by the concrete wall, and we could just hear it and took a direct hit.
When it started to hit that direct hit, what did you hear?
Well, like everybody says, it was like a train, and just the house kind of started to pulse a little bit, and then we heard the upstairs just blow up, and water started rushing in from up above.
How many people were with you?
Well, Tuesdays is family dinner night, so we had everybody at the house except George Jr., so there was 8 of us that was in the basement, including a grandbaby, so we're very grateful that we're all safe.
What do you do now?
Call my insurance agent, find a place to sleep tonight.
We're so glad you're okay. Thank you so much. All right, so as you could tell, folks, the damage continuing. If everybody, is George here to making an assessment of the damage here, and we're going to continue to talk to these folks in this neighborhood, and we've got more areas to look at. This is just the start of the damage here south of Lawrence. Back to you in studio.
All right, thank you, Sean. So that was a storm that popped up just east of Emporia hours ago and went just south and east of Osage City. Did a lot of damage on the south side of Lawrence, and now is almost right over the Kansas Speedway. We'll have to see if there's damage there, but this thing is moving into an area that is highly populated, and the report is that it is still on the ground doing damage. Emergency management over there says on the ground. And okay, this is storm damage west of Eudora.
And I can add, Jeremy, if you'd like. I just got off the phone with Jillian Rodriguez. She is the Assistant Director of Douglas County Emergency Management. This is one area here that they are still assessing. This is, we're told, west of Eudora, where Eric Ives is. I do have my microphone on, guys. So the storm from Douglas County Emergency Management, number one, they want everyone to know at this point in time, stay out of these storm areas. Emergency crews need to travel right now. They need to be getting into these areas, assessing the damage. This is kind of where this storm left Douglas County. What Jillian Rodriguez told me was that it hit south of Lawrence, north of the Pleasant Grove area. That's the damage Sean Wheat was showing us earlier. That's where they have the homes damaged. It then kind of stayed along the Wakarusa River, made its way northeast on the south edge of Lawrence toward Eudora, and that's the area that you are looking at here. Again, Douglas County Emergency Management, you can see the sirens. They're just getting into the Eudora area to assess the damage there. But along that track from north of the Pleasant Grove area to Eudora, at this point in time, emergency crews are conducting several rescues from homes where there are people in homes that have suffered some serious damage. At this point in time, we're told they have no reports of any injuries. However, until they get into these damage areas and get into the houses and make sure everyone is out, they can't say for sure whether someone might be injured in any of those homes. The Lawrence Police Chief just checked in with emergency management and said that the KU campus is fine. No damage there. They have had some street flooding from the rains that came through along with the damage. And at this point in time, the Red Cross is on its way to the Emergency Operations Center in Douglas County, if they're not there already, to work on setting up shelters for folks who don't have a place to go. I know that a lot of people have friends and family who were affected by the storms and are trying to get in to try and help them out. What Jillian said is at this point in time, they ask people to just simply, the best thing that you can do to help them at this point, while emergency officials get in and do the work that they need to do, is text them information and keep them informed. They really need any extra folks to just stay out of these areas, because as you saw, there was a power line down there. There are more than 5,000 people, I believe at last check, without power at this point in time. So Westar crews, emergency crews need to get in there, make sure that the power lines aren't a danger to folks. And as you see, a lot of debris across the roads. Actually, KDOT posted that Highway 59 south of Lawrence, headed into that area where the damage that Sean Wheat was showing us earlier is. They have closed that portion of the highway right now, partly because there's a vehicle across it, but also because because, again, Douglas County Emergency Management asking people to stay out of the damaged areas. We'll be keeping in touch with them and letting you know any updates that we have from Douglas County Emergency Management as the evening goes on.
All right, thank you, Melissa. So here's what we have on radar now. We have the tornado warning for the northwest parts of Washington County. That one's still Doppler radar indicated. And then to the south, the storm is moving into Chase County and Marion County. This is going to be a major storm in the next few minutes as well. Now, looking outside, I want you to see there's still plenty of sunshine out there. So these storms haven't done what you see many times where we have a burst of storms, it rains everywhere, it gets cooler, the threat goes away. This is not that night. These storms are isolated, they're not clouding up the sky everywhere, and they're not cooling everything down. So looking outside from Manhattan now, Doppler radar indicated the storm that hit Lawrence earlier was Doppler radar indicated, then confirmed on the ground, and a big tornado. And Sean Wheat has an interview from Lawrence live right now.
Well, we just talked to some firefighters who are going through this neighborhood. They were talking to the neighbors here. Let's give you a shot of what some of the damage is here. That is a garage. And if you just look over here, the house that garage was associated with is completely unscathed, or it looks like it from the front. Now, we were talking to those firefighters. They have said that this area south of Lawrence, about 4 miles, is the area that took the most direct impact from the tornado. They are checking these homes door to door and told us that so far there have been no injuries. So again, that's great news. The folks that we've talked to so far have said they took shelter. They knew it was coming. They were watching the news. They took the precautions of getting into their basement, and each one of them has lived to tell that story, which is exactly why we are so adamant about this. So again, we just talked to fire officials here. They say no injuries here in this neighborhood. We're still going door to door ourselves and talking to the neighbors. We'll have full updates here for you in just a little bit. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Sean. So we're looking at now the area that I'm concerned about working its way into Chase and Emporia.
We've had quite a bit of power lines come down, and we do have, max 2. It should have down power lines. Just to give you an idea of where the storms are. There we go. And just to give you some safety tips for you on the down power lines from Lawrence over towards Kansas City. Obviously, you don't want to be near them because you don't know if they're going to come near you, or you don't know if they're still there. But you do want to stay away from them. You don't want to get electrocuted from that. And never touch the down power line. Don't walk through it. It is very, very dangerous in that area. And always assumed down power line are energized and dangerous. So you just want to be extremely careful. Don't attempt to move them, and make sure you report them as well. So extremely dangerous situation there just south of Lawrence that brought some very strong winds to the area as well. And we're still seeing these storms continue to push up to the north and east.
So kind of a history of what's going on. These are funnel cloud reports. The storm that we're talking about moving into Chase County, funnel cloud, hail, hail, funnel cloud, hail. So now it's getting into Chase County, and we'll see if it's I really think that one's going to wind up the tornado warning at some point. So zooming out here, we had a tornado reported just south of Osage City. That was the big storm, and then of course impossible to miss that it touched down in Lawrence, the south side of town, doing a lot of damage. Went right up the Kansas Turnpike. Some damage around Bonner Springs and close to the Kansas Speedway, and we've even seen it touch down over Missouri. So that's where the tornado reports have been so far. And then zooming back out here, we had a hail earlier this evening. Actually, it was close to 5 p.m., I believe, right here on the west side of Shawnee County. We had a report of 2-inch diameter hail near Willard. Let's see what the time was on that. So 2-inch hail, 4:51 p.m. At Willard. That was 4:51, so that's been several hours ago. And then we've had of course, these storms touching down. We had this one touchdown tornado as it moved into parts of Republic County, and that's kind of the map of where we've had the storm spotter reports so far today. Again, I am concerned about this one moving through Chase County. It's had a history of producing funnel clouds, lots of funnel clouds.
And I said, oh, honey, I said, this is not good.
People in Lawrence, Eudora, Linwood, and on into Kansas City raced for cover tonight as this massive tornado bore down. It left a path of destruction in its wake, part of a storm system that sparked tornado warnings around northeast Kansas tonight. Good evening, I'm Melissa Bruner.
And I'm Ralph Hipp. We have live team coverage of the devastation that people right here in our corner of Kansas are facing tonight, including 13 Sean Wheat in Lawrence, Juan Cisneros is in Eudora, Kansas, and Marlia Kemble is in Linwood.
But we begin with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Goodwin. Jeremy, these storms aren't done yet.
Hi, Ralph, Melissa. We still have severe storm warnings in the area and a severe storm watch that goes until 10 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning. Notice I didn't say tornado warnings or tornado watches. It's a severe thunderstorm threat from now till 4 o'clock in the morning. Can't rule out more spinning storms, but most likely we're done with those tonight. There's the severe storm watch for most of the area going until the wee hours of the morning, 4 a.m. The active severe storm warnings include parts of Brown and Nemaha counties at this time, where we have the potential of winds that could be up to 70 miles per hour and hail about the size of a quarter. So if you are in Hiawatha, the storm is coming your way right now, potentially with some hail up the size of quarters, and again, winds that could be up to 60 or even 70 miles per hour with that strong thunderstorm, severe thunderstorm. We also have strong storms moving through Osage County and in Lyon County right now. They are not considered severe, but certainly could be at any point. Your full 8-day forecast is coming up.
Thank you, Jeremy. Well, the areas south of Lawrence, particularly along Highway 59, are some of the hardest hit tonight. Homes were destroyed and leaving a pile of debris in its wake.
Let's go to our team in the field, beginning with Sean Wheat, who is in Lawrence. We'll be checking with Juan in Eudora a little bit later. But Sean, people were emerging from their homes and seeing this devastation for the first time.
Yeah, they were, and everyone here is counting their blessings. That's because they took shelter and it saved their lives. Now, the destruction could be seen from Highway 59, just 4 miles south of Lawrence. In one home, a family of 8 rode it out in the basement, hearing the tornado rip right through it. The house across the street completely fell in as it passed over their house. Many residents in this small subdivision tell us that they knew it was coming after watching the reports on TV and watching the path.
Got in the basement and we have a safe room underneath the front porch. Thank goodness for that. We were down there and listening to the storm warnings and heard the roof come in and knew that everything upstairs was pretty much gone at that time.
I mean, we saw it coming, we could hear it. And, you know, we took cover in the corner of the basement by the concrete wall, and we could just hear it and took a direct hit.
These families are now trying to figure out what to do next. Many have friends and family to stay with tonight. Tomorrow, they'll call their insurance companies and just try to start to rebuild. Now, emergency are still going door to door here in the area just to ensure that there are no more injuries. Also, a shelter has been set up for those affected at the Douglas County Fairgrounds. They say it is too early to say exactly how they're going to clean up, actually handle the cleanup efforts tomorrow, or even how they're going to get people in here to access their homes if they want to start cleaning up.
A lot still up in the air as they continue the searches tonight. Sean, thank you. And we are told several people were injured by the tornadoes. So far, no reports of fatalities. That's the good news. Lawrence Memorial Hospital says it treated 12 patients tonight. Most of those injuries were minor, things like broken bones or people who were in vehicles overturned by the tornado. They say one person was in surgery but is expected to recover. Douglas County Emergency Management told me some of the injured were taken to other hospitals, but they did not know how many people or how seriously they were hurt.
The storm skirted the south edge of Lawrence, heading right to Eudora. 13's Juan Cisneros continues our 13 News and Weather team coverage, and he's got a look at the damage it did there.
Yeah, Ralph. Well, here at this home, it was just before 6:30 when residents headed to their basements as they heard that the sirens in the storm headed this way. And while down there, they could hear the sounds of the destruction going on above their heads. And once the storm had finally cleared the area, they came upstairs to find this, a massive and gaping hole on the side of their home and no roof overhead. But they weren't alone. Several other homes and buildings around this area received lots of damage from this storm. And nearby daycare also received extensive damage from trees and from other debris flying around the area. Now, the power is completely out for blocks as power lines and trees had been removed from the ground and are now covering roads, which has also prompted police to close those roads to any through traffic. And all the while that destruction is happening over their heads, residents in this area grab their loved ones in undercover, hoping that it would end as soon as possible.
The first thing I remembered was, oh no, our windows are out, because I could hear the blinds blowing in the wind. And then it dawned on me that this is not going to be good. And it was devastating, yeah.
And I mean, it was coming quick, you know, and I said, honey, we need to hit the basement.
Did you fear for your life?
Well, hell yes, I feared for my life. You know, I mean, we were downstairs, and, you know, we said we loved each other, and you know, you just thank God that you're alive, you know.
For the last several hours, Westar and Public Works have been in the area clearing some of those trees and those power lines from the roads to the best of their abilities, and they will be here for a lot longer as well.
Juan Cisneros in Eudora, about 15,000 people in that area without power tonight. Now, if you go a little farther east toward Kansas City on Highway 32, the town of Linwood found itself directly in the path of this tornado, ripping houses apart and other buildings too. 13's Marlia Campbell is live tonight right outside of the Linwood area. Marlia, in this heavily hit town, what are you seeing over there?
Melissa, I'm just about 4 miles east of Linwood at the intersection of K32 and 222nd Street, where officials are directing traffic away from Linwood right now. They say it's because power lines are down and there is some extensive damage. Now, just miles from where I'm standing right now, earlier today, a tornado tore through Linwood just a few hours ago, causing extensive damage, as you can see in this video. Houses are completely torn apart, roofs ripped off the walls, just some devastating damage you can see here. I spoke to a local resident who says he saw the massive tornado firsthand. He heard the sirens but kept driving to go check on his son, who was asleep at home at the time.
We were driving home, the tornado sirens were going off. We looked off to our south and we seen the big monster tornado. It appeared to be a mile wide in my guesstimation. And then we experienced the outside rain and heavy winds. Right. And then we got home and we came up here to see our other property, and luckily it's still standing, but we're being told by everybody in the pictures that are surfacing now that the town of Linwood isn't there anymore, is what we're hearing.
Neil said fortunately his property just had some minor damage, and most importantly his family is safe, but of course some devastating destruction in Linwood. Ralph?
No doubt about it. And Marlia, we also had seen reports that the damage there is very, very bad. We will see in the morning how it looks over there.
Well, it seems like the severe storms were hitting all corners of the state tonight. Trooper Todd of the Kansas Highway Patrol shared this photo. It is of a double tornado. Trooper Honus actually got the photo while sitting in his vehicle on I-70 looking over toward Hayes. This video also is from western Kansas, a tornado that hovered near Luray in Russell County. If we can get a look at that. There were no reports of any serious damage. There is the storm near Luray. No reports of any serious damage from those storms. And of course, Jeremy and Peyton and Doug have been following tornado warnings all around the state this evening.